I saw Gina crying in his sleep. This is one of my personal favorites from Pure Guava. It kind of took a while to grow on me, but man, there's just so much fun stuff that's just packed in a nice little less than 2 minute package, right? So we got a couple parts here. There's just a part for just a couple chords really in terms of the rhythm part. We got a verse and a chorus, and that's basically it. There's also, there's the guitar solo, and then there's also on the record there's that whistling bit, right? The whistling solo, which as you could see there, I kind of adapted, which I'll go over, and I'll go over a couple ways you can play it. I kind of adapted it, so to speak. But there's that guitar solo, and then there's a part underneath of the whistling part, and then there's just the way it ends. So let's just go over the chords first. So it's a G, just a G, a normal G bar chord. I'm playing it like this, but it's just a normal G bar chord. So that's heard my brother weeping in the dead of the night. Next chord is a C9. You see him playing. I think he's. I see a lot of clips. There's a D7 sharp 9, which we'll get to in a second. But I see him just playing like normal sevens, like this. That's kind of the shape I see him doing live. But what you can definitely hear on the record is it's got those upper notes of a C9 chord. So C9, so that's just, third of A, second of E. It's this shape, right? Third A, second E of the D string, rather, sorry. And then G3, B3, high E3, right? So that's the chord. Right. So back to G. And then Hendrix chord, D7 sharp 9. A lot of people, I think that's an F, and there is definitely an F. You can hear it. But again, I see him play it live, and he looks like he's just doing this note, this shape without that upper F note there. But it's definitely, on the record, you can definitely hear he's doing that. Maybe he is doing that live these days. I don't know. I just tried to judge the best I could from the audio and video I've seen. But yeah, that's just, in case you don't know this classic chord, just classic 7 shape, right? So, and you can move this shape around. I always think of it as being an E. But of course, we're just moving it down 2 frets here. So that's 5, 4 on the A and D string respectively. 5, 4, 5, and then get up here. You get 6th fret. Get that nice dissonance because you got the the like mixed thirds. You got the minor third and the major third. That's where the sharp 9 comes in. But so those are the 3 chords for the verse, and then the chorus is just he's not really playing these lower chords on this position on the record, but you see him doing this live. It's just an F, normal F major bar chord, and then a G. He cycles between those 3 times. So I saw Gina crying in his sleep. I tried to wake him up, but he may not appear. I saw Gina crying in his sleep. And then it's that same D7 sharp 9. Hendrix chord. And then the ending, it just ends on so after it does that, after the last I saw Gina crying in his sleep, D7 sharp 9 again. And then you can hear kind of a bundle of open strings. So that's just a G. I think he's probably almost certainly playing it like this. It's classic position. You can play it like this as well, but I've gone through this many a time. But that's just low note on the G note on the low E string, muting the A. So just don't play the A, mute it. And then open D and G strings, and then 3rd fret of the highest 2 strings. So just a nice strong G to end that on, right? Just as that nice big open sound. Just it's nice. So those are the chords. Now to get into the rhythm of it. Now you can do this however you like, basically. But the basic rhythm he's doing on the record is so just like downstroke, right? So down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. And then sometimes they'll free it up, they just kind of have to have a feel thing, have it be really dynamic. Don't just like strum away as hard as you can. Kind of mute it a little bit, but not super mute it, just, mean, that sounds all right, but, just to make it sound a bit more like the record, strum it a little bit open. Especially on this C9 on the record, he really kind of strums that open. And like I said, he kind of deviates from he doesn't just do the down, 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 up, down. He doesn't just do that the whole time. He, strums it a bit more freely. It's just having that rhythm in your right hand. It's pretty natural stuff. Like, to a beginner, it's a little, it might be a little confusing, but after you play for a while and you listen to the album, it's pretty, like, natural the way he strums it. But just the general idea is to have that, and kind of emphasizing those lower notes. That's that on that chord again, that C9, it's a lot more just open, kind of strumming freely. And you see me sliding there, I forgot to mention that, but yeah, I tend to, it sounds like he's kind of sliding down. Again, you can just play it like a bar chord, but like I tried to sort of see if I could just like raise the third, lower the third there on the G string, make it go from the 4th fret to the 3rd fret, but it doesn't sound like that's what he's doing. It sounds more like a slide. It's just a little quirk to add in there to make it sound a little bit more like it, but you can totally just play it, That's what I see him doing live anyway. And then for the D7 sharp 9, it's just a bit more, after you're strumming this, pause so that you can come up to this chord, and then, so, two quick hits, like real staccato kind of, like kind of mute it. Right, so 2 hits twice in a row, and then hold it, and then he strums it more freely from there. So, and I like to add a little bit of vibrato in the fretting fingers, right? This gives it that kind of classic sound, right? And you see me doing a lot more of the little wrist flicks. Those little, I don't know if that's 16th notes or 32nd. I don't remember what that would be. Probably 16ths if I had to guess, but just little flicks of the wrist there. Just to add a little bit of excitement there on that chord in particular. So those are the chords and the sort of rhythm of them. And like I said, he doesn't really play these chords down here on the record, so, but I would just say, he tends to just sort of strum them once live, so that's how I would do that. So that's pretty much the rhythm and stuff. Now, for the chorus, he actually slides up and he plays them in this position, so he plays these little kind of inverted triads, I guess you'd say. Sorry. We'll go over how to play that, but that's just, you're just barring on the D, G, and B strings, so just slide up. Doesn't really matter from where, as long as you slide up a little bit, just to kind of get the sound right. On the D string, so just slide up on the D string. End up on the 10th fret and just bar that and play those 3 strings. So just D, and then, alright, so B, G, D, B, G, D, and then he slides up. So that's, so after he plays that D and slides it up, he's going to do that B, then G strings. So it's this nice little G chord here, and he's going to expand upon that. Now, I think you can definitely hear this high G note up here on the 15th fret of the high E. I hear sometimes on the record, I think he's switching back and forth. I hear him going, I hear this little, so you're just barring again on the 12th fret, but you're playing this high G note on the 15th of the high E. And I think sometimes on the record he's adding that little suspension on the B string, so, right? So I think that's what he's doing sometimes. But there are other times where you can definitely hear when he strums it quick. So that how that goes is that's the rhythm of it, right? So I think sometimes I don't hear this D note as prominently, but there are definitely times where you do hear that, again, on the 15 of the B string. So there's sometimes where you hear that. So I like to vary it up. So I kind of view it as there's 3 different ways that I like to play this, and I like to alternate between them if I can while I'm playing it. So it's like, so just like a, and by the way, you just, pauses, right? Like hard, mute the strings after you strum them. Like that. Don't go. All right. So I like to do that. Strum it, hammer that on, then mute, then don't have that on there anymore, and strum it again. And you can also go fret that, and don't even bother with that little suspension. Just fret that on the 15 of the B and the high E. So that's probably the easiest one to do because you don't have to worry about switching anything up. And the other way would be to kind of combine them to go. So you strum it, and then mute, and then you fret those. Right, so just a cute little detail. But yeah, I think it sounds really cool. It adds a lot of little energy to it, right? So that's all 3 ways I just did. So that's that. The only other things to kind of go over are the guitar solo and the whistle part, which I'll talk about how I adapted that, and also the guitar part that's underneath the whistle part. I guess I'll talk about the guitar part underneath the whistle part, the rhythm part, I guess you call it, underneath the whistle part, because that's another rhythm part more so than anything else. It's kind of a lead part, but I guess I'll do that first. It's not as involved as the actual guitar solo. So that's gonna kind of play it like that. So this is just like a open G chord with an open B string, open third there. So just straight down it, right? Just ascending from the lower strings, and then he hits that. I think he hits the B and high E strings there. After he hits the B string itself, he hits both of them. And he's going to hit the high E string, then 3rd fret of the B twice. And then just some open strings. And you can hit those open strings along with each other, Don't be too precise with this. It's kind of sloppy, but that's kind of what brings some energy to it. Kind of like that, has that twanginess to it. Especially those 2 strings open together, the B and G. And then he kind of descends. It doesn't really matter. It's just you strum some of those. And then he does kind of a similar thing, but just these... I just hear he's just playing, of course, C chord here, but I don't even hear him playing the highest 2 strings here. I think he's just playing... Just kind of, arpeggiate those 3, right? So... and then he kind of does this again. So I hear him go, ascending this G chord. And he plays the G and maybe B string. And that's how he ends it before going back to the... Right? So that's just... So that's just normal thirds, basic stuff. It's just 4th on the G, 3rd on the B, then down 2 frets, down a whole step, then up 2 frets, up a whole step, then those 2 strings open. So how I like to do that is I like to throw some slides in there. right? So instead of just the, I like to do the, not much to explain there, just slide up. And that's just if you want to. So overall that would be. Right? So then we have the guitar solo. Now this is very sloppy. It's coming out of this chord, right? And I don't know if you can hear him doing it on the album. It kind of sounds like it to me. You kind of hear him switching from whatever it is, like the bridge or the middle pickup. Not the bridge, but like one of the other pickups. Because I hear that, like, I don't know, that phase switching sound when you switch your pickups. He's kind of playing the lowest two notes of this chord, just this. He's just playing those two. You can hear him switch to the bridge pickup. That's what it sounds like anyway. So you'll kind of be strumming this chord and then strum those two lower notes and then switch over if you want. But just to play it like how he does, you know, it's more like. And then he kind of plays those two again. And then we're into the solo and he goes. Right, so you're going to kind of be hitting the open D and G strings abundantly here. They kind of fit well here. So it's open D, then hammer on, pull off, second fret from the open on the G. Then third. You could hit the fifth fret of the D string here instead of the open, especially for these, you know. You know, I just prefer the open G, but so third with a little bit of vibrato, but not that much. So fourth to open, fourth to third, then little bend there on the fifth, up a whole step. So open D, open G, open D, and then he hits them both, right? So right, so it's such a cool way that it's very twangy, it's very classic kind of country stuff. You know, this whole song kind of has that jaunty country kind of bounce to it, but of course it predates 12 Golden Country Greats. That's kind of cool to see. So that's just that. So. And then you can kind of reposition here as you're strumming the two open strings. So obviously I kind of spiced up what he does on the album here because it gets very like sloppy here. But the basic stuff that he's playing is, you know, he's doing this tritone interval. So this is, you know, bar your finger on the 12th fret of the G and B, but he's playing this 14 on the B string, 12 on the G. Right, so going up from the 14 to the 15, back to the 14, and then letting go, so he's playing the 12 on the B string. And then hitting that 12 on the G string in between each of those. Now, of course, I kind of went something a bit more like, right, so just, I was really just adding in those, like, those pull-offs there. And I'm also kind of hybrid picking it, using my middle finger there. But then he slides up. He kind of basically does the exact same thing, more or less, on just like a whole step lower. So just 2 frets lower. So. And again, I kind of went more like. Did something more like that. So that was just a. Which again, just kind of hammer-ons, and not so much hammer-ons, but like pull-offs and just sliding down. Doing those kind of rolls. That's all I did, but the basic kind of note structure is the same. I don't think he hits that 10th fret of the B string, but other than that, it's, basically the same idea, just a lot sloppier, honestly. And then he slides up here. Fun, kooky kind of set of notes there. So slide up from the 13 to the 14 on the B, and then pluck, pick 13 to 12 on the high E, and then this nasty kind of chromatic slide up, pluck, then slide up, and then pluck again when you're on the 15, right? So, and then he just kind of, again, kind of very sloppily, I think he ends up there, but he just chromatically ascends until he hits the 19 of the B string. Or is that, no, that's, what is it? That's the, yeah, that's 19th. No, that's 20th. Sorry. I'm losing my mind. But, yeah, so. That's what it sounds like on the record. I added a little bit more of, just a... so that's just a fourth interval, but it's just... It still ends on the same note, basically, but I'm just ending it with these fourth intervals, just following it along with the lower fourth interval on the G string, 1 fret lower. From this note onward, that's it. So just a little extra flair there. You don't have to do that. That's obviously not what he's doing on the record. So for the whistle part, you saw me do it an octave higher, and I recommend if you're going to emulate it, try to do it with a bunch of gain, because even the whistling part has gain on it, right? It's kind of overblown. At least it has some sort of telephone effect on it. So I did it way up here. I did this because I have this guitar has 22 frets, so I could just barely kind of adapt this, I realized. So I'm going to teach how you can do it in the lower octave, but I guess I'll start by teaching you how to do it here. But if you want to learn how to do it in the lower octave, I'll just do that. It's the same thing, but I'll show you how to do it. So that's 19. I hate going up here because when it comes to teaching, it's hard to remember the fret numbers as much. But 19, 22nd fret, bend up. So I like to rake into that. So pluck, then full step bend, then bring it back down and mute it, and then pluck it again. Then whole step down to 20th. Right, so just and then 20th to 22nd, whole step bend up there, then back down, right, so similar kind of phrases before. Then he's going to hit that on the 21st fret of the G string. And then, right? So that's just a little 19 to 21st. Pluck, then pull off. Hit that on the D string, and then I just kind of slid up here. So the chord underneath of that starts with this, right? So that's just the Hendrix chord D7 sharp 9 there. So there's this little fourth interval there. So I decided to sort of start there and do a similar thing that I did at the end of the guitar part, and do this kind of sliding up thing, right? So I basically did that as much as I could until I reached that elusive 22nd fret. So again, just same kind of thing as before, where it's just, start on the G string, slide up, and then pluck the B string 1 fret higher. You're starting the G string on the 17th fret, sliding up from the 16th. And then I kind of swap out, slide up from the B string. Now it's just the same thing, but it's on the same fret. Right, so so it's just the same fret now, but it's the same pattern, just pluck your B string, slide it up, and then pluck the high E string. And then once I get up here, I pluck that up on the 20th fret, and then I kind of try to mimic what he does with the whistle, where he goes, you know what I was trying to do, but when he kind of does that, so I tried to, right, so just, and then it helps to have a little slide at the end, right, so that's, it's tricky, and I'm not sure if I'd be able to pull it off live so much, but, especially if this is just the higher, and again, I'll show you the lower octave, but altogether that would, so that would basically be like, right? So I just thought it was a cool little adaptation of it. Now for the lower octave, again, I'm not going to go as in detail because it's the exact same pattern of the notes and everything, but things are varied a little bit because you got to lower it from the strings here. The dynamics of the relationship between the G and B strings kind of messes things up. So 12th fret of the B. And if you're, it helps to like pinch these kind of notes to get some gain going, but it helps to like kind of pinch these opening notes so you get a lot more like that whistling quality out of it. And it kind of emulates that higher octave anyway, right? So that's that. I'm gonna not have the gain on while I'm teaching, but right, so 12th fret of the B, again, rake into it, so whole step bend there on the 14 of the G, and then right on the B string here. Can't remember if it's the 12th or 14th fret of the D that you would hit there. Maybe it's, I think it would be because I don't think it really matters that much. Maybe D would make more sense harmonically. I don't know because it's the G over top. But it's then. And then I would go slide up. Now it's just all on these same two strings, so it would actually probably be easier anyway. So just slide up. You start on it's the B and E strings, so you start off on the 12th of the B, slide up 1 fret. So right, so same thing as before. So something like that. So that's my little adaptation of the whistling part. It was a lot of fun to do, and it's surprisingly fun to play on guitar. So yeah, that's the lesson. Love this song. Hope you enjoyed learning it, and hope you had a good time. See ya.